Andy, we got to talk to Texans. They're terrible. Let's get started. What is the initial thought you have about the team is now 5-9?
Well, I never expected before the season started that this team would be last in the division, 5-9. They don't even have a chance to go 500 for this year. So it's been a huge disappointment when everybody set their expectations so high. You're expecting them to go to their first playoff appearance. And I'm just surprised at the way they played against Tennessee. Before the game, Bob McNair took a chance and gave them a vote of confidence publicly. He took a lot of heat for it, and they didn't even show up in Tennessee. And that was my biggest surprise. And you have to ask yourself, are there going to be a lot of changes, more than what we expected before Tennessee game, that are going to be made in the offseason?
If they keep playing like that, and they played like they want to get Gary Kubiak fired, which is amazing because I'm there every day and I know they like him and respect him, but they're not playing as if they do. And something, as you know, because you played 12 years, if you're always playing from behind, how difficult. They've been outscored 96-36 in the first quarter. Last season, they outscored the opponents 89-57. That's a plus 55 last season compared to a minus 53 this season. How hard is it to always have to come out of a hole you've dug?
Oh, it's very hard because don't forget, you're playing against other professionals, and when you give them a 7-point, 14-point, sometimes 21-point lead, they're going to find ways to hold on to it. You might mount a comeback, but at the end, your gas tank is just empty, and you've been playing from behind, and it's hard to come back. You know, those great comebacks we saw, Philadelphia Eagles versus the Giants had a great comeback. They don't happen every week, but for whatever reason, the Texans are always down 14, 20 points every week, and sooner or later, you're just going to lose it, and they've been losing it more than not. So it makes you wonder what they're doing during the week of practice leading up to the games. Why are they starting off slow? And it's been every single game, it seems like, that they've started off slow, and you have to ask yourself, how are they preparing? Is the problem with the preparation, or is it simply with the players?
I'd be amazed if anybody wins the toss and defers. You want the ball like the Titans did, you go straight down the field. That play where Kerry Collins underthrew the deep ball right to Glover Quinn, here comes Troy Nolan, knocks it away right to Kenny Brett. That kind of typified what's happened to this defense all season. I was shocked.
Yeah, I was shocked, and it goes, you could say the team is snake-bitten. You could come up with excuses because that was a freak play. It seems like the Texans have had a lot of freak plays that went against them. But sooner or later, players make plays, and the gamers, they show up during the games. You make that interception. You take it to the house. You do what Pittsburgh defense does all year. You do what Baltimore does, and you just don't see their big-name players making the plays they made even last year when Brian Cushing looked like the next coming of Lawrence Taylor, or Bernard Pollard was covering people and knocking their heads off. Those guys that got you excited last year, they haven't shown up this year.
Cushing and Pollard last year, they combined for 8 interceptions. This year, 0. It is unbelievable to me that last year they allowed 19 touchdown passes. This year they've given up 31 with 2 games left. It's the worst secondary I've ever seen. There's a chance now, going up against a rookie quarterback, they may not be the worst in history. They're pushing the Atlanta Falcons, who had the worst pass coverage in history, but they're playing a little bit better. But what do you think about the pass rush? I know that was your specialty.
Well, you know, the pass rush isn't there. When you look at only one guy who's putting up big numbers, Mario Williams, who's now on IR, they're not getting the job done. The one positive that I like is they picked up Mark Anderson off the street. He had an awesome rookie year when he was with the Chicago Bears, and he kind of fell off, and he made himself expendable. They picked him up, and his short time with the team, he's had 3 sacks and 16 quarterback hits. He's shown that he might be that guy to complement Mario Williams when it comes to the rush, and if he can grow and get used to the system, he might be a find for next year.
They've hit the quarterback more in the last 3 games than they did all the games combined, but the DBs still get beat. I know if Gary ends up being fired and we got a lockout looming, that's going to change the way every team does business. You're not going to be able to have player movement. But I'm looking ahead to free agency and the draft. Say there's no lockout. How can you do anything but draft DBs early? And I know pass rush is important, but even when they're getting a rush, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. You know, when you're talking about the draft in the offseason, they have to dedicate it to the defensive back position with their early picks and with the veteran free agents that are out there. And I'm not just talking about cornerbacks. You know, much has been written about the cornerbacks. I'm talking about the free safety, the strong safety, the nickel back, everybody. If you play in the defensive backfield for the Houston Texans, you're on notice, and the team needs to go in and bring any and everybody that they could get.
How could a team make that kind of mistake to go young, to get rid of Dante, and all of a sudden it's backfired. How does that happen?
You know what? You get a little too confident. I think after that 9-7 season, the first winning season in Texan history, they kind of subconsciously put their feet back on the desk and lean back like this during the offseason thinking that they've arrived. You haven't arrived if you haven't won a Super Bowl championship, and that's what really disappointed me. During the offseason on our radio show on 610, I kept saying, when are they going to bring in a safety? When are they going to bring in a veteran quarterback? And they never did it.